Hello everybody, my name is Mike Snow, and we're going to continue this playthrough of Dark Souls 2. And we're going to do that by going to the final giant memory, the one with the boss, the giant lord, or giant king, I forget his name. This boss fight is not that difficult, however, it is really irritating to get to the boss. It's right in the middle of a huge pitched battle, and we have to cross a battlement that is actually where we would fight the pursuer in the normal run of things, the normal pursuer boss room. And we have to get from one point to the other, and there are going to be catapults firing giant flaming rocks at us the entire time. And that obviously does not do us any favors or make this super easy. In fact, it makes it pretty darn challenging just to get there. And if you follow precisely what I do, we can get there. And also, I just want to show you, because I forgot to last time, because I was getting a little salty, is the giant warrior club. This looks incredibly cool. This is one of the most barbaric weapons I could think of. Tragically, though, it does not have as good a moveset as the Great Club, and it requires a prohibitive 60 strength in order to use. Even on a strength build, I rarely go past 50 with my strength, and I think I'm only at 45 now. So let us try to go through the final King's Gate to the Giant Lord. They have also mysteriously and stupidly decided to, arbitrarily lock off one of your summons. Normally, you can summon 2 people to help you fight, but in the giant memories, you can't summon anybody that is not an NPC. And the NPCs that you can summon in this one, well, there are 2 of them. However, you can only summon 1, and the other one is just arbitrarily locked off. And the reason they did this is because you can solve 2 quest lines by summoning these guys. And summoning 1 is Drummond. The other summon is Benhart. We're going to try to summon Drummond for this fight. Just because I think it's... Just because we already beat Benhart's quest line. Tragically, though, Drummond is not especially good during this boss fight, and he will tend to stay by the fog door where you entered the boss fight and try to fight the enemies there rather than running through to the end, where you need him to fight the actual boss. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Over here, we have a convenient bonfire. I do like this little extraneous bonfire here, because it's nice to go right to the boss room if we die. This boss is not incredibly difficult, by the way. It's just a little tricky getting there. You know, you may die a fair bit on the way, but when you actually get to the boss, he's just a gigantic armored figure. Well, he's not armored. He's a gigantic figure, taller than any of the other giants, but actually not as difficult. He's actually not quite as hard, because his footsteps don't make your character lose her ability to move. His hitboxes are much more reasonable. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're much more reasonable. That's Drummond. And, Benhart's is not here. Is it because we finished his quest line, or we didn't attack him or aggro him or anything? Oh, you know what? We might have to talk to him in the giant memory in order to get him to come. That's possible. See, he's using the Drenglaic armor. Now, we are going to be hit with catapults as soon as they come out here, and we're going to have to wait until right after they hit near us, the ones near us, not the ones far, and then immediately run. Just ignore this fight going on here. This has nothing to do with us. Stay far away from it, and go right. If you don't have enough stamina, this is going to hurt. And you see the giant head that we saw earlier? That's starting to move forward here. And there's fog here, which I don't like. And now it is cleared. You can get hit by the ballista along the way. And here we are, the Giant Lord. That's a cool name. He can be pretty tricky. Oh my lord, Captain Drummond actually came out. Thank you for joining us today. The last time I fought this, he did not give the slightest of fucks about any of this, and was just, it's much easier just to roll them. I would not try to block those foot stamps, or really anything that he's got there. Maybe the sword could have been blocked there, but that foot stomp, I don't know about that. If you go too far back where he is now, you easily... Oh, we did block it. That's nice. Maybe if I have a tower shield, it's okay. You really want to stay close to him during the fight. I also want to point out that he looks a lot... He reminds me a lot of Lord Gwyn, especially with that sword that he's using, which I don't believe we can get. Wow, Captain Drummond is being especially pathetic during this fight. We can get hit by that fire, by the way, if we're going a little bit too close to it, so... In order to finish Captain Drummond's quest line and get his helmet, we need to have him survive this fight. If he doesn't, no quest line finish. Fortunately, Captain Drummond's helmet is a pile of shit, and I don't even bother with it. So, I don't care that he died. But, I think it's just, Captain Drummond gets a participation trophy just for being able to make it over here. That's actually quite impressive for him. And he's dead. Up here, by the way, you can get hit by fire, so be very careful. But this is a fire seed. And we got the Giant Lord Soul, which I think we can use to make a miracle. And we got the Giant Kinship, which will now allow us to fight the final boss, Nishandra. Might just want to take a looky-loo down here, even though it's very dangerous, but I think you can actually hit. I was told by the people in the guide during one of their playthroughs that you can actually hit the giants out there somehow that are throwing this stuff down at you, but that seems almost impossible, so there's no real point. You just have to run to this end part here. I don't think there's anything else of use. Maybe some soul items or something. They're not really interesting, but it is cool that we get to see how this land was that earlier area in the game was actually created. I would have liked to have done that in a few areas of Dark Souls or Demon Souls, just go back to the place that we were fighting in and see how it got that way during the actual mess. So it's kind of neat that you can do that in this game. And we get a Soul of the Giant. And let's just head out. There's a piece of twinkling titanite that we're going to grab. Pointlessly, when we go to get it, we can't go back up to where we were. You see, the stairs are broken for God knows what reason, and we can get some twinkling. This is actually where we were in one of the other giant memories, where we got the Giant Warrior Club, if you see here. Although I don't know how this was changed exactly. And I don't know how who built that scaffolding? Because that wasn't there when we went in, because this was all water, so that was built after that battle, I guess? Maybe there were constant battles going on for decades, and... well, who knows. Let's just take a look here. And I'm just going to spend some of this in Majula. Why don't they just let you run up there, for heaven's sake? And then we have to go have a chat with a couple of people. First of all, Chancellor Welliger. He, if you remember, mentioned a long time ago, "Did you see that showering giant among them? He is surely their lord." And I like that. That seems fair that you should remember that he said that and have to go back and talk to him. That works out for me. I don't mind that at all. Sup, baby girl? How you doing? Okay, I think we need just a little bit more faith. Because I would like to put a bit of faith into this character. A bit of endurance. There we go. I was thinking about, since I have all the Hyde Knight stuff, almost all of it, I was thinking about putting a little faith into this guy. And now I have You Gotta Have Faith from George Michael stuck in my head. That's going to be there for a good couple of hours, so... Yeah, there's that. Now that we have the Giant's kinship, the end of the game is within sight of us. We can just go down to our left and kill Nashandra, but we still have an entire DLC to do, so we're not going to do that for a little while. And, I believe I will try to do the Covenant of Dark. I was actually playing Dark Souls 1 yesterday, and oh my lord, the shield use is just so much better in that game. In this game, they've made it pointlessly challenging to use shields. It really annoys me. We also have to take a trip after this to talk to our good friend, the King, now that we have 4 giant souls. Because... Ooh, okay. Alright. Because now that we have the 4 giant souls, his defense is considerably lower than it otherwise would be. And we can do some serious damage to him now. Technically, if you want his defense to be totally gone, you would have to wait until you got all 5 of the lords of the giant souls. However, you don't actually need to do that. I got confused originally. 2 side. I'm beyond. I'm speechless. I'm fucking speechless. You do not know how much of my fucking life I spent getting those fucking halberds, and to get 2 of them randomly without even using any covetous gold serpent rings is I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna fucking cry. I can't believe that. Jesus. This is pissing me off. I forgot to show this earlier because outside of New Game Plus, this area is kind of useless. But if you come in here on your second playthrough or later, you will actually find two pursuers in here that you have to fight. But since they're not here, I'm not going to spend time with that, talking about that. But that's where you get the Ring of Blades +2. And I'm actually at Bonfire Ascetic level 3 or 4 in this area, because I was trying to farm for the Lance, and I still did not get them to show up. You have to wait arbitrarily until the next, until you actually beat the game and get there the second time. Ascetics do not work, which really ruins the Ascetics, because why have them in the game if they work sometimes but not all the time? This is the throne room, by the way, and if you take a look at it, you'll notice that one of the thrones conspicuously is fairly light with light brown wood, and the other one is shrouded in dark, which I'm pretty sure is intentional. That was almost certainly Queen Nashandra's. That's the royal crest of Drangleic up there, by the way. It looks really cool and red with the... It almost looks like blood around the face area. It looks like of a demon or a dragon. Let's talk to Veliger.
Welcome, visitor. Our guests are treated with honor. This is the way of our castle. Tell me if you should require anything. The King of Giants. How did you slay that behemoth? Incredible. Now, take these. My lord made magnificent findings on souls. An accomplishment for the ages. He vanquished the 4 great ones. Our king has... King Vendrick.
Okay. Now, at this point, he will also start selling the DLC stuff. This was the original, like, day 1 DLC, which makes me angry. But this DLC stuff is not especially good or useful. It's just sort of weird reskins of existing stuff. Like, this is the wooden shield. That's the blue wooden shield we get in Forest of Fallen Giants. And it's just like the regular stuff, but with pus on them. That's what it looks like to me, and I don't care for it. Oh, sweet infinite repair powder. I'll grab a few of you. And let us go talk to the king in the undead crypt. The way to get the 5th giant soul, if you want to completely reduce his defense, is to defeat the ancient dragon way up in the dragon shrine area. But that fight is very, very difficult and unnecessary, because you really just need 4. That brings his defense down significantly. And I originally went into this game fighting him with only 4 giant souls, and I can almost guarantee you that they changed that fight significantly. It used to be absolutely brutal. I don't know how many times I fought him. 15, 20, and it took so damn long. And I can almost guarantee you that it was not a case of me getting good. They changed the fight and made his hitboxes different, because it's sort of a breeze now. I don't even worry about it. And hopefully we'll run by these guys without getting hit, although these guys do have spears, so that can be a little challenging. These guys, by the way, will not aggro past this light. There's something about this light here, maybe because we're in the undead crypt, that they will not go past. Okay. This is a great room here. A little uncomfortable doing with this with a lance, but... And now he's always going to have aggro. That sword swipe he does is incredibly powerful, and can really do some very serious damage to you if you get caught in it. And unless you have a lance like I do, don't even bother trying to block it, just roll through it. It's actually got a pretty easy to understand moveset. I really enjoy that he took off his armor before this happened, because I really do feel that there is something there about insanity, about completely getting nude when you're just have completely stopped giving a fuck about everything and are having difficulty relating to reality. I think that, I don't know if that's a common trait among people that are having nervous breakdowns or something, but maybe it is. It feels like it feels authentic, which I like. The fight is very simple. However, he can one-shot you. It's another one of those things where, well, it's pretty easy, but you can't fuck up even once. And I don't know if I would maybe get a grace hit and have him two-shot me, but I don't want to find out. Really, his swings are incredibly easy to avoid, and he's really easy if you just stay right behind his left leg here. The only thing you have to worry about is if we do what's going on now, and he's sort of boxing you into a corner. And that can lead to trouble. You can actually get, after we fight this, we're going to have to go pick up King Vendrick's armor and soul. And with his soul, we can get 3 items, or 1 of 3 items, so you can't get them all in one playthrough, which makes sense. You can get either his shield, which is an excellent shield, a medium shield, that is absolutely great and highly recommended, or you can get the sword he's carrying now, but in a kind of pathetic, weak sauce version of it. His sword is gigantic there, but the version of it that we get is actually much smaller. It's like the size of a regular longsword. And we can also get a rather comic sword that is gigantic. It is one of the biggest swords in the game. And it is actually a statue. It's really just a statue, I'm not kidding about this, with a handle on it. So, wrap your mind around that. It's pretty ridiculous what he's, that sword. And it's a good strength build, it's like, I think, requires 50 strength to use. You get an A scaling. The sword that he's using now, the Ruler's Sword, that's a sword that I believe scales with the amount of souls that you have on you now. The king really was obsessed with souls and power, just like Alant was. And I think so if you have... I'm not exactly sure about it because I never really used it, but you have to get like... It's sort of like the Artorias' sword. You have to have a mix of stats to use it. You have to have dex and strength and faith and intelligence in order to use it, or it's not going to be or effective. And I think that it is dex. No, excuse me. I think it is. You need all those, and I think it is. I think it is the number of souls that you have that it stacks with that will give you extra damage. And now that we have the Ashen Mist Heart and have defeated some of the DLC kings, we can actually go into King Vendrick's armor and talk to the living version of him back when he came over here and keeled over and died. But I want to wait until we have all of the DLC bosses defeated before doing that. Now let us head over to the Shrine of Amana, where we can get the king's armor and his soul. Just to let you know that when we come here, you do have to be alive when you get in there in order to open the door. If you remember way back in the Shrine of Amana episode, there is a... Where is this? There is a door that we could not get into in the shrine just past the Crumbled Ruins bonfire. Whoa, that's kind of a... I think that guy was using the iron, or the ice golem helmet. Anyway, let's go over there and find that. The King's Armor is one of the coolest armor sets in the game, and it's highly recommended. It looks amazing. We also have to defeat King Vendrick in order to get the Scholar of the First Sin ending of the game. I originally was very annoyed at this, that we had to go kill Vendrick in order to get it, because I had not killed Vendrick on my character that I did the first run-through of that with, and so it was really trying, and I had to go back with another character that was kind of close to that, and have him kill Vendrick and go do it. It just seemed kind of pointless. I didn't know why. The Scholar of the First Sin boss fight, by the way, occurs after the Nashandra boss fight. So, we have to defeat Nashandra, then we get the Scholar of the First Sin. This guy can actually hit us all the way over there to the door, so I wanted to finish them off. I really wish that you could have just defeated Nashandra, then killed Vendrick, then gone back to the room, but you can't. You all have to do it in one jump. I guess now that I think about it, you could fight 3 bosses in a row. You know, you could fight the Throne Watcher Defender, then Nashandra, then Scholar of the First Sin. That would be an interesting set of fights. You can't get in here if you are hollow. It's the opposite of the Rise of the Dead area. Now let's go here. And we have the Soul of the King. Fantastic. He must have left this stuff here as he was going down, but we know he didn't, because we saw the armor in the room there. So I don't know how we have all of the armor here. And just to quickly show you the armor, because it looks epically cool. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, this armor looks really, really awesome. I love it. But I am going to be using my good old-fashioned Hide Knight chainmail. I think for the next episode I am going to be making an attempt to go to the Covenant of Dark areas. Although I will be switching over to the Great Club for that, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Before I do that, since we have a couple more minutes before the end, I think I will go and show something that I'm pretty sure I missed as I was continuing this. I'm going to check to see if I missed this. So Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed that. A pyromancy spell in Brightstone Cove, Cellulara. Oh, well, actually, you know, now that... Hold on a minute. Now that we're going to Seldora, we can do something. Because there's something very important down there that we can take care of. There is actually a hidden memory that we can go to that I did find out about it in the, excuse me, during my first playthrough, but it was because I had seen it online. I saw it on Reddit or something. I did not find it on my own. I would never have thought to find it. But now that we have the Ashen Mist Heart, you know, as soon as we got that, we can go and do this. Of course, we got to kill a lot of spiders on the way down there. So many spiders. There we go. Look at all... What are these bloodstains here for? Do people jump down there to try to get the crystal lizard? Is that it? I have no idea what's going on there. Why would you even try to do that? That's crazy. Lousy Pate. Just remembered him. Alright. The area that we're going in, we actually got a key when we defeated not the Duke's dear Freya, but the Duke himself. And this key will allow us to open a door that will give us some of the Black Knight weaponry and a pyromancy called Great Fireball, which is the highest upgrade of Fireball that we can get until New Game Plus Plus, where we can get Great Chaos Fireball. Whoop, there we go. I also forgot to mention... Did I forget to mention this? It seems almost certain that I did. But I forgot to mention that there is a weapon in the game called a pickaxe. And you can technically get it in this area, but it is virtually impossible to get that weapon. Because if you remember way back at the first Brightstone Cove Seldora bonfire, there were a couple of pigs up there. Well, if you're one of the most lucky people in existence, and I ended up being one of them, there is a 1 in a million chance that a tiny pig, like the ones in Majula, will spawn there instead of the bigger piggies. And if that happens, that means that you have a chance of getting the weapon, because you see the grass lined up around here? That is actually hiding something right here, this little black spots. Those are supposed to be mushrooms, like truffles, that pigs can go get. And if you come down in here, you can actually lead that tiny little pig all the way down here to the bottom and have him eat the truffles if he lives, you know, and doesn't fall to his death or get killed accidentally along the way. And that will reveal the hidden item, which is a pickaxe. And that is one of the most obscure items in any video game ever. You'll notice this is another trap room with the spiders in it. So just come up to the door, press green, immediately cancel out of it, and then leave. Because opening the door is what spawns them. And now we can fight them normally. But the fact that that weapon is in the game is incredibly difficult. That is one of the most impossible things. How could you ever know to do that things in the world? I don't know how they figured it out in the guide. Maybe, things are, things are going badly. Okay, I thought there was none of them left. But I could have sworn that they mentioned that maybe From Software told the people in the guide about it. Oh Lord, I'm covered in webbing. Jesus. Ugh. There we go. Bandit axe. And, but maybe they figured it out on their own with the guide. Who knows? I'm not sure about that. And here we go, the Black Knight's Ultra Greatsword? Ultra Greatsword, and a Fire Seed, and a Great Fireball. Should have shown that as soon as I was done with Brightstone Cove Cellora. But the spell is not especially useful, not compared to Great Chaos Fireball or Forbidden Sun. And you can get Fire Seeds elsewhere. And the sword is not terribly useful either. It's clearly outmatched by a lot of other weapons. We're not even going to bother fighting the guys, except for maybe this first one, because we're going to run to the area where we got the Lord Soul embraced. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Got lucky there. And we're just going to hopefully run past these spiders. As you can see now, there's a strange crystal underneath Seath here, because Seath was obsessed with crystals. And with the Ashen Mist Heart, we can go up to it, examine it, and do this. Why in God's green earth you would ever think to go back to this area after defeating the boss, I don't know. There is no point to ever doing that. I have no idea who would ever have done it. There's no items to get that you couldn't get on the first way down. But this is absolutely beautiful. This area is incredible. Just look at it. It is a memory area. You can't stay in here forever. This looks like the Dragon Eyrie. And those things, I guess, are the... Those look like those peaks that they were on, but they look sort of square. They don't quite resemble it. Who exactly this is and what it is, I don't know. But this is absolutely amazing, and we can get Ancient Dragon Soul. There's nothing else in this area, and I wish there would be, but the atmosphere is gorgeous enough. This weird black and white sort of emptiness. It reminds me, especially because the dragon looks very stone-like, of what we were told about the at the beginning of Dark Souls 1, what the world was like before fire and dark, life and death and disparity. Sort of an endless black and white or gray wasteland with stone dragons and huge arch trees. But, yeah, absolutely gorgeous area. Let us head back. I'm going to be ending the episode in just a second when I get back to Majula. And I will mention that the Ancient Dragon Soul can be used to create a great dex sword. It's a great sword, and it has an S ranking with dexterity. So if you're a dex user, that can be very useful if you're feeling your dex weapons are not quite huge enough to dealing punishing amount. There's the pickaxe I was just talking about. Not dealing punishing amounts of damage. If that huge rigmarole actually led to something really cool and unique, rather than just something pointless like the pickaxe, it might actually be useful. But remember, this is Dark Souls 2, so they want you to go to the ends of the earth for crap that you don't really need. But until the next one, I will see